That came from the beginnings of our adventure back when we were younger. And as Jordan was saying before, we kind of bonded over exploring an adventure and playing out in the rain and the mud. And we were in the Santa Monica Mountains riding motorcycles, like dirt bikes out in the mountains, and it was raining. And we were kind of off adventuring this place as we were getting further and further into the mountains. And I don't know if you remember back in, what was it, 2001?
Later, like 2005?
2005.
Maybe earlier than 2005. 2002?
It was raining a lot. There were mudslides everywhere, and we were riding and slipped in the mud.
There was waterfalls, it was a rainstorm galore.
We went over this big hill, and the dirt bike shot off the mountain. Like it slid out and kept going and went off into the mountain.
Shot out, we lost control.
And so when we went to look for it, Jordan got off the bike and helped me up, and we walked over to the side of this cliff, and there was a rope leading down the face of this mountain. It was what we thought to be a crevasse, although it's been debated up until this point.
I think it was a very real crevasse. I'm not sure. Do you know what a crevasse is? See, it's a geological structure. It's a phenomenon, really, where the earth kind of splits into this downward cave.
Oh, okay.
And the bike went down. It's very scary. So I won't cut you off. I'll let you continue. But
we found the rope. It was an orange and black rope with a stake put into it deep into the ground.
Rebar.
A rebar stake. We rappelled down, left the bike there, rappelled down the mountain, and we found these big rocks, and they were kind of leaned together, and they were forming this shelter, and there was a hole going down underneath these rocks. And we went down into the earth, and underneath there was another cave going into the side of the mountain.
And on the walls, there was all these little holes, it's almost like if someone had a really strong thumb and they pushed their thumb into the rock over and over and over and over and over again. And then in these holes, there was little frogs living in there, and they were chirping.
Like making little frog noises.
Yeah, but like really little frogs, so it wasn't like a rivet, it was like a chirp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we went, just like that.
Just like the bird that you were hearing right now.
And so we went deep. We went into this cave, and we ended up finding a man who was living down there. And he lived in this cave. His name was Fig. We, long story short, befriended this man and continued to go there and visit him. And he became a muse, an inspiration for us to go down there, and really pushed us to make something of the creative energy and the dynamic we had between each other and need for adventure. He was an adventurer himself.
And we met him in a very wet time, but he was a dry guy. He was from the desert. He was almost like, he had skin of sand. He had pale blue eyes and skin of sand, and he was of a light brown coloring, and he had dirty hair, and he hadn't lived in the cave for very long. He'd been keeping up in there while the rains were kind of going. He was traveling through, but he then became a friend and stuck around this area in Southern California, and he was reachable by pager. He was, old school like that. He had a pager, which back then, 2002-ish, that wasn't that unheard of. But he became a family friend. We introduced him to our parents. He wasn't a creep at all. He was
a little loud.
He had a temper.
Yeah.
He had a temper.
Talking to him, and he just...
Yeah, but it wasn't directed at you. It was like he had this surge of energy in him at any given point when he'd get excited in the conversation. It wasn't like something made him mad and he started yelling at you. He'd be talking about something. You guys need to go make music. Here's why. Here's why you need to make music. And you get louder and louder.
He told us about these... Yeah, exactly.
It was a kick in the ass when he got loud. It wasn't a beating, it was a kick in the ass.
Okay. That's cool.
But to wrap the story up, when he passed away...
He's dead now.
Okay.
When he passed away, what he instilled in us and the way that he pushed us to really believe in who we are and to nourish ourselves in that way, it seemed only appropriate to name it after him. We went through so many different names, so many different ideas, and nothing seemed as appropriate as the way to name this project after somebody who influenced us so impactfully at that young age.
And how old were you at this point?
13, 12,
Somewhere right around there.
depends on what year it was.